Hey guys, Shift 83 here again. So this is part 2 to the 838 PEB demonstration. So if you haven't seen part 1, go back, watch it first. It goes through the board and everything. So just to lay what I have out here, so I have a 994A powered up. As you can see, I've got the 838 PEB, which is inside a mid-tower ATX case with a 450 watt ATX power supply. The 994A is modded. It has a F18A mod to allow the VGA output. It also has USB keyboard from Jedi Matt 42. So it's the TI-99 USB keys. It's one of the first versions I think he had. I've had it for quite some time. So inside the ATX case has of course, the 838 PEB board, motherboard in it, or backplane board, whatever you want to call it. And it's the micro ATX version, which is explained in part 1. Inside the case, I actually have the 838 IO Plus card. It's the shorter version that's made for a ATX mid-tower to allow you to plug the cable directly into the side of that by snaking it through where the IO ports would be, like keyboard stuff for a PC. I also have a Myarc FTC set up for 40 track, a new 2016 edition Super AMS card, 1 megabyte version. Have the 838 speech card, which is a clone to the Rave 99 card that I released this year also. And then I have a new Tippy that I purchased from Greg a couple of months ago from arcadeshopper.com. And I purchased it strictly for this project. I was able to find me a Raspberry Pi Zero W, and I have that installed. And I also have that powered up with my 5-volt standby coming from the ATX. So let's kind of go over it real quick. So as you can see the light, it's powered up. This is the 838 IO board, FTC, SAMS, 838 speech card, and then of course the Tippy. Now down here at the bottom left corner, see those two little white dots, or whatever they look like on your screen? They're just 2-pin headers. These are for data minus, data plus for GoTech 1, and if you decide to have GoTech 2. Reason I did that is so people can use the front USB ports if they have them. And I did that strictly for the micro GoTech. This currently has a standard 3.5-inch GoTech installed and a 3.5-inch floppy. So the micro GoTech I'm going to show you real quick. This is a standard GoTech. That's the size. The micro GoTech is actually just this little board right here. So if you compare it in size, it's a lot smaller. This was shipped to me by the developer. I purchased a couple of them strictly for this project, but I haven't put it in here. I have hooked it up and tested it, but I've got to design a 3D case, which I haven't designed, and I just need to print it and make sure I don't have to make any changes. But he does ship it out of Poland. It only took a week and a half or so to get here, so pretty quick. He ships it with a 4x20 or 20x4, whatever you want to call it, LCD. And of course, he also ships it with a speaker for the mod, already hooked up, rotary, and then of course a breakout for the USB. This is where these would come in place. So you would take the D- pins of here and just plug the jumper in from the D- here to the D- and D+ over here. And then you can use those. Now, I already have one, as you can see, with the 20x4. You can see on the back, it is actually wired in with a Cat5 network cable. And that Cat5 is wired up to the rotary as well as the display. This Cat5 goes all the way down over here to GoTech 1. I also have another one for GoTech 2. This is the pass-through power. It's all explained on part 1. So let's go ahead and get you to look at it. we're going to do a few little tests for you to be able to see things. We'll go and load up a program and let you see things actually working. So in my disk drive 2, I actually have a floppy disk I formatted and just copied AXLF over to it. I also, in disk drive 1, which is my GoTech, actually have a karate game on there. So we'll go ahead and go into Extended Basic so you can see it actually loads the karate game up. But did that again. I have to go into Extended Basic. I went into Archiver 4.0. Let's try this again. Got to go into my dev subdirectory because that's where I have Extended Basic 2.6. It will take a minute for this to load up. But like I said, this is the karate disk image on the GoTech. So Karate Challenge is loading up. And it'll be up in just a second. There it is. So as you see, it loads. So let's go back into Extended Basic. You can see that it actually is seeing the expanded memory. Let's do a couple of catalogs. I'll move this cable out of my way. This is the Tippy. And there it is. Let's do actual physical disk 1. Or physical disk 2, I'm sorry. No, disk 1. I was right. That's the disk image. I'm confusing myself. So that's the GoTech. TSK2. This is the actual physical 3.5-inch drive. This has the AXLF on it. So let's go ahead and go into DM2K. Reset. Completely did the wrong thing there. There it is, J. Accesses the Tippy as DSK0 or Tippy, either one. And it looks the same. It's just like it's supposed to work. DSK2. There it is. So let's execute it. Why not? So for those who don't know, you can actually execute program image files from DM2K. Takes a minute for it to load up. And there it is. And it starts. I personally think this is the best version of this song on retro computers. Let's reset that. So to show you it actually detects the SAM's memory card, I'm not going to do a full-fledged expansion RAM test. I am going to select it, and then I'm going to reset it just so I can get the other options into the memory, so I can select them again to go through a quick test so you can see it detects the SAMs. It does pass. I don't want to go through the regular expansion RAM test because it's kind of slow and it takes more than 20 minutes to finish. So we're just going to do a quick test. So we'll do the expansion RAM test, but we'll go ahead and reset it now. That way we can see the quick check. So go on the quick check. detects the SAMS card, detects the correct amount of memory, 1024K. It'll go up to 255 pages, and the screen will turn green that it passed. I have tested this with a TI and a Core Comp 32K memory. I have also tested it with a Foundation 128 and 512K card, as well as a Horizon 128 and 512. And then, of course, I have an original 1 megabyte SAMS card that I've tested it with. I've also tested it with the sidecar versions, like the 838 32K sidecar. I've tested it with a SAMS sidecar, as well as the 32K sidecar from Jedi Mac. Everything works. Everything passes. So I've done some extensive testing. So let's go ahead and reset. We'll go back into Extended Basic. That way you can actually see or hear the 838 speech card work. So we're just going to do a standard call, say hello. That's all I'm going to do.
Hello.
As you see, that works. We can also go into the TIPI, of course, from Basic or Extended Basic. Either way, I haven't done really any setup on this besides throw some files on it and configure the wireless card. Now, one thing I do want to show you is what I've done, and this is how I will be running my setup, because I like to hardwire everything. So, look closely. You see this cable here, which actually comes all the way back to here. This cable is actually hooked up to my Raspberry Pi Zero W through one of the USB spots. And this is nothing more than a Cat5 or network cable extension cable is all it is. But on the other side where it plugs in, and then actually the network card or pigtail, whatever you want to call it, it's actually plugged into the USB of the Raspberry Pi Zero. It actually gives me up to a 1 gigabit spot. So this is just standard Cat5 for the Raspberry. So that's all that is. Just thought I'd throw that out there. You know, I tend to sometimes go overboard when I'm making modifications or getting something exactly the way I want it. Bring this over a little bit. So you see the TIPI works. So let's go into Basic. We're going to load up the Telnet client that comes with the TIPI for the TI-94A. So typi.net.telnet. I actually have the Telnet program inside a net directory on the TIPI. As you see, it works. It asks you for 40, 80, or 64. If you don't have an F18A, then you can't do 80 column. It may work with another 80 column card. I'm not sure if that was programmed or not. The developer could answer that. But we're going to go ahead and select 80 column. So as you can see, it's asking me for the host. We will go to my BBS. Then it's going to ask me for a port. It's 9640. So in case you can't read it for some reason, the host name is fusionbbs.ddns.net. I can, since I have the F18A, I can display ANSI color. And there it is. And this is all being done wirelessly. So Depending on the case you have, if there's too much interference, if you're trying to go wireless, you can do what I'm going to do and hook up a hard wire. Or there are some mods out there for the Raspberry Pis that allows you to hook up an external antenna that you can actually run to the back of your case. I thought about doing that, but I haven't. I decided I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do the hard wire. So as you see, everything works. Now my store does have a new location. It is www.shift838.com. There is a store link for you to go to click on, and you'll be able to go into the store. I will be opening up pre-orders for this over the next couple of days. The pre-orders will last for 2 weeks. So please, if you decide you like it and you want one, get in on it, because the more orders I have, the cheaper it's going to be for everyone. I'm going to gauge it and price it out as, for at least 25 orders is what I'm going to do. And that's what it's going to be. If I get more orders than that, then depending on what it is and how much difference it is, people will be getting a little money back for something. So just all depends. But again, I want to tell everyone that if you're going to be using the 838 PEB board into an ATX case, then if you do a mid-tower, you will have to purchase the actual 838IO Plus ATX version board because it's shorter. If you have a full tower, then you may have enough room to use the existing card if you've already purchased the 838IO Plus card. If you haven't, you're going to have to purchase the whole thing. The 838IO Plus ATX card, as well as the side port version, as well as the cable. And the 3D case if you want, unless you want to print your own. That's going to be an option. I've already released the cable pinouts, the case STL files, everything. So you don't have to go through me for the case or the cable if you don't want to. So again, thanks for watching. If y'all have any comments, feel free to reach out to me on my website, or you can reach me on Atari Age. Either way, thanks again.